Hello everybody, I am Fuzzyface and welcome back to this Motorsport Manager career. We're currently on Season 4. The first 3 seasons we spent at McLaren, Season 2 and Season 3, we won the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship really comfortably. So we've moved on to a little bit of a harder challenge. We've moved on to the American team, the H team. I cannot actually say the name of this team anymore in this video because if I say the name of this team, YouTube thinks I'm saying a totally different word. What is actually a swear word, according to them, it flags it up as inappropriate content. So I don't want these videos to be flagged up as inappropriate content. So we're just going to be calling ourselves the American team, the H team, whatever else we are, whatever else we can sort of think up. We cannot actually say the owner of this team either. So we'll just have to say that Gene is happy with us at the moment. Our chairman is really happy with us, Gene H. We cannot actually say his last name either, because otherwise if I say that, we will be flagged up for inappropriate content as well. But anyway, it seems like a while since I've been with this series. I think it's been over a week since I actually played this game. I have been on holiday, so I think I only put 2 episodes up whilst I was away. I was trying to get far enough ahead, but I didn't actually manage to do it. I only managed to get 2 episodes in front, so I only managed to get 2 episodes up, the first episode of this season and the second one. I managed to get those on and done. But anyway, we're back with this game now. We're back, should be back daily from now on, and on Monday there is the challenge pack downloadable content coming out. I have got it pre-ordered, so depending on when that comes out on Monday, we'll possibly get started with a couple of videos doing a couple of the challenges as well. And a new patch comes out that day, so whether that messes up any of the things we've got working in the game, most of the stuff is from the workshop. However, obviously the car model is from the Assetto Corsa website. This might get taken out of the game, might cause the game to crash, which is what happened with my Ferrari save a long time back. Not too long ago, but it got messed up with a new patch. I couldn't get it working again. But anyway, let's get back into this game and try and remind myself what happened for Rucci. He won the first race in Melbourne. He started 20th on the grid, ended up winning that race. Marcus Ericsson was leading that race. We were on course for a 1-2. His front wing started to go. Instead of pitting and trying to fix that, we tried to push him to the end of the race. It didn't work out. He ended up retiring. Ferrucci, his engine was going in the last race. We pushed him through to the end of the last race. He managed to make it, finished up second in China. He finished second. He qualified down in 18th again, finished second, a long way behind Max Verstappen, but it was a decent enough race. And Ericsson in this race crashed out as well. He did not finish. He crashed early on in the race. Lap 1 he actually crashed. So hopefully we're going to have both cars finish for the first time in Bahrain as we roll up to Sakhir. We have stopped a day ahead of the race because we do have this from our assistant Natalie Brewer. Hi Fuzzy, one of our guys just had a great new idea about the suspension systems. I won't bore you with the details, but if we were to re-engineer the electronics, we get some seriously good performance out of it. The only downside is it is going to cost us. It is only going to cost us £400,000 to get a plus 30 performance on both our suspension parts. So it's a no-brainer really. We're going to do that. We're going to have better suspensions going into this race. So it's not going to take us off having the worst car overall still. At least the suspension is not the worst part overall. We are up to 7th now. We're above the Renault, we're above the Toro Rossos, we're above the Saubers. So our H car, can't actually say the name of our team. Remember, YouTube is not happy with us saying the name of our team. Enough with the YouTube griping, we'll get past it. Anyway, we're 7th overall there. We still got the 10th overall best car. Our drivers are the worst, possibly because Ferrucci is only rated 3.5 stars. But I do like Ferrucci. He's doing pretty well this season. Whether we keep him for next season or not, I don't know. It's going to be if he can keep going like this, but obviously if he starts, once these other cars start getting their reliability back, he's going to be finishing down the order. But his start to this season has been absolutely amazing, and maybe because he's worked with who's he with at the moment? He's with Stuart Yarnham, because he's got this nurse boost. It would take a while, a few races before a new driver would get up to this level 2 stat with the mechanic. So if he's dropped off by the end of the season, even though he's having a really good season, we might think about replacing him at that point if we can do. If we've got enough money to bring a little bit of a better driver in, we might think about doing that. So going into next season, we've got another driver that's comfortable with the race mechanic that we can get this nurse stat to. But I really don't want to get rid of him because he's had such an amazing start to this season. I do like to keep the realism factor a little bit Even though it's a little bit unrealistic that we've got Santino Ferrucci in this series because he doesn't actually have enough super license points to actually drive in Formula 1. So how he got in this seat, I do not know, but obviously this game doesn't take into account that. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead to travel to Sakhir. A quick look at the mail. Global Motorsport Association to meet for the first time this season. So what actual votes have we got coming up this season? I've actually looked. Removal of the Singapore Grand Prix. 16 lap races, 16 lap races on average, normal width slick tyres and medium length practice, so nothing that really affects the rules too much. We've got a scouting report on Alex Fontana. He's obviously not going to be good enough. We're just scouting everyone that we can do at the moment. Sponsors wise, what we like for money at the moment, getting in £1.5 million per race, which is not too bad. So where are we at with the car? I haven't actually looked. We're actually just working on this rear wing at the moment, which is now good enough to go in the car of Santino Ferrucci. So we're going to put his rear wing in this car. So he's going to get the better rear wing now. We can slightly improve the one that we've got in Ericsson's car, because this one's not good enough to go to Ericsson at the moment. Obviously we'll be going to Ericsson at some point, but we're still working on that. I think at 60% we're there or thereabouts where we can get Ericsson to the end of the race. Just about a couple of these parts. This front wing we're going to be moving over pretty soon, but we'll just keep with Ferrucci for a little bit, just see if this 60% is good enough for Ericsson to get to the end of the race. We are currently still working on another new gearbox. It is our worst part in the car, or the part that we're furthest behind the computer cards. So here we go, select a sponsor. We're going to aim for 6 or above again. We're not going to get that in qualifying, but this one from Marlborough, 16 or above, £76,000 for qualifying and the race combined is not good enough. You might as well always go for this one. We could go for this one, but then again the risk is not too much. We can go for 1.8. That is good enough. Everyone is content. So as usual, I'm going to run qualifying, whacking the mic there, we're going to run qualifying and the practice session off camera. We'll be back in a moment when it's time to go through the race. Qualifying over, we've actually managed to get out of Q1 for the first time this season, which was one of my early season aims. We've got Marcus Ericsson up into 14th, actually outperforming Lewis Hamilton in his Toro Rosso, whereas Pedro Pica in the other Toro Rosso went out in Q1 as well. Ferrucci has moved up a place as well to 17th. The two Saubers really struggling this season. Bottas really struggling in his Sauber, slower than Felipe Nasr. Anyway, up at the top of the order, I would expect we've got the two McLarens up here. We've got Max Verstappen, followed by Fernando Alonso, Mick Schumacher there. So 3 of our former drivers at McLaren, all in the top 3. The Mercedes struggling at the moment as well. 5th and 8th for Raikkonen and Hülkenberg respectively. Vettel struggling in the Red Bull this season, Van Dorn in 9th. The Williams of where is Daniel Ricciardo 6th. So it's between McLaren and Ferrari this season, but Ferrari have been having reliability problems themselves. McLaren, with the massive advantage that they have with the factory having 8 slots to work on reliability, seems to be working out for them. They're going to run away with the championship this season, just like we did the last 2 seasons with them. We're going to go medium. We might go race trim here, just to give Marcus. I don't think we need expert or quick fixes at the moment. We're going to take a risk and not go with those. Whereas we're going to go medium, and we're still going to go nurse with Ferrucci, because he's still, a lot of his parts are still at the base range of 40%. We haven't had a chance to really work on them at the moment. We're pretty well done for all of the for the car balance early going. We're going to swap to the mediums here. It's 21 laps. We could one stop this if we really wanted to. We could one stop, otherwise we could do medium. Yeah, we're going to have to one stop it with Ericsson, because trying to get him higher up the order in qualifying, we've used pretty much all of his super soft tyres. So we're going to go medium, we'll possibly one stop with him. Ferrucci, as he went out in Q2, in Q1, we might be able to switch his up. We could go medium, super soft, super soft. It might be the better option for Ferrucci. It might be. We'll think about it during the race, just seeing how he's going, because then we can actually push through his tyres, whereas we have to be quite careful with the tyres that we've got Ericsson on. So we're going to be careful. What's the temperature going to be like? 23, so it's a little bit higher. 21 is the usual one that keeps the tyres at the right level, so 23 is a little bit higher, so they will rise a little bit quicker, and we will push with Ferrucci. That is what we're going to do. He's a little bit further down the order. We're going to push. So let's see what we can do here in Bahrain. Obviously we've still got the Assetto Corsa car models on this game at the moment. You can get that from their website. The Zoom mod is called the, what's it actually called? I think it's just called the Zoom mod, and you can get that from racedepartment.com. That zooms all the way in. It does go all the way out, but Ferrucci has dropped down to 20th place. Ericsson's done pretty well. He's held on to 15th. He's not doing the best. We might try and push his tyres to get them up to the optimum temperature. We need to push him a little bit more. Ferrucci, meanwhile, all the way at the back. We're going to see if any of the other cars have started getting their reliability back here as well. But Ericsson, we're going to get, once we can get pushing on this battery, we're going to push on it. We went with the, I think it's a Honda battery. It does give you a big starting boost. So once you can start using battery, we are at 100%. I think we're the only team that actually went for the Honda battery. Yes, we are. We're the only team that has it up to 100%. So here we go, 14th place. And we won't use it on this bend. Oh, we might actually use it on this bend. We've got a couple of cars that we can actually get past here. So let's use it. We can get him up into 12th. Can we get past Ocon? And Ferrucci has crashed. Ferrucci, in a ball of smoke, has hit the barrier. Right, so it's going to be a while, I think, before we actually have a car. Both cars finish this race, so we've got to really look after. I don't think we're going to have a safety car out here. We're going to get Ericsson into 12th. So Ferrucci's luck of good fortune, his run of good fortune even, has come to an end here. Ericsson doing brilliantly up into 11th place on these medium tyres. Has got past the Williams of Stroll, who's on a softer tyre. So we're going to start looking after these now. We're going to turn down to high, because we do have a lot of parts in this car that we want to look after. What are they looking at the moment? Not dropped anything over the first couple of laps. We've got cars coming back at us. We'll use a little bit of a battery to stay ahead of them. Might give us enough of a run on Sebastian Vettel. And who's that? That's run off. That's Giovinazzi. That has run off on the same part of the track in a ball of smoke as Ferrucci did. Safety car out. Turn everything down. Should we pit? Could we get a free pit stop out of the way? What have we got left? I don't think we're going to do it because we can go a long time on these mediums. We'll still stick to the one-stop strategy. It is going to help us do that even more because we're going to be able to look after these medium tyres. We're going to be able to recover most of this fuel as well, which is good for us. Vettel is going to pit a lot of these cars on the super soft tyres. They're going to pit, but they're going to have to do 2 stops from here no matter what tyre they go on to. Whereas we can still 1 stop from this position. So that is what we're going to do. We're just going to follow the safety car now. So is everyone going to pit here? Where are we going to be at? We're going to be out in 4th place. That is Mick Schumacher, who is behind us. Verstappen has got in and out in 1st place. And yeah, a couple of these cars, not everyone that started on the medium tyres pretty much stayed out. So we're in a really good position here going forward. So we're just behind the safety car now. So we'll skip ahead until the safety car is about to come in and we'll pick up from there. Right, so there's about half a lap behind the safety car to go here. We're going to start getting some temperature back into these tyres. We won't turn the fuel up just yet. Vettel is in last place effectively at the moment. I think he came in to actually fix some parts early on in the race. He was miles behind the safety car. He's only just managed to catch the back of this field. But we're getting a little bit of temperature back into these tyres. Look at that, the fuel though is right up here. So we're going to push in overtake mode on the race start. We're going to try and burn off some fuel so we're carrying a little bit less fuel. And then we'll look to recover that towards the end of the race. So we can really push here as a race restart. So keep forgetting about the battery on the restart. We do have a little bit more battery, do we? Up into 3rd place for Ericsson. Yep, he manages to get past the Force India Sergio Perez. We just got Daniel Ricciardo in the Williams in front and Max Verstappen on a pair of really fresh medium tyres. And look at that, up the inside of Daniel Ricciardo. Use a little bit of a boost to keep that move. Ericsson up into 2nd place here. We're in a really good position here for Ericsson. And we'll go back on the tyres here. I don't really want to push in overtake mode too long because it's going to really affect the engine. So maybe we're going to have to start thinking about turning down a little bit earlier than we would want to do. What is everyone else doing? Most cars are on push at the moment. So we'll go about another lap, I feel, in overtake mode. We'll just get this 1 lap done and then we'll turn back down. Maybe to medium even, just to make sure that we're... Oh, it's dropped to 42% already. It went from 55 to 42 in half a lap. So we're going back to medium here. It is going to cost us some places, but we're going to try and stay out because we're not going to be able to pit later on with the way we're trying to work this one-stop strategy. We might even be able to get onto a soft tyre with the way these medium tyres are holding up, but we do have the 15% boost for the medium tyres. So is it better for the 15% boost on a medium tyre, or is it better to go for the quicker tyre? I think it's better to go for the quicker tyre. So that is what we're going to try to do, but we've got tons of life left in this medium tyre. 13 laps to go. If we can get this through another 4 laps, then we should be able to go onto the soft tyre. The battery takes a long time to recharge this Honda battery. You do start out with a big charge, but it does take a long time for it to start coming back. We've got Alonso behind us. We've got no chance. We're not going to fight him. We're not going to fight Alonso. We're just going to let him pass. We're going to push on these tyres. They're getting a little bit cool at the moment. Can't push too much. What's the engine like? 38%. It's there or thereabouts. It does look like it's going to be able to get to the end of the race. Should we get in sooner rather than later? No, we're going to try stretch it for the soft tyre. We're going to try stretch for the soft tyre. If we can, maybe we can't. Just have to see what we do. These medium tyres, I think, can go down to 10% in the reds. Tyre wear is getting pretty bad, guys. Yes, we know, Ericsson. We're just trying to get you on to a quicker tyre to finish this race on, because we're in a good position at the moment. We're just holding this big group of, it's the 2 Mercedes and the McLaren. We're just holding them up at the moment. Let's use a little bit of a push to stay ahead of them. Just hold them all up. If we hold them up as long as we can, it's gonna really come back to us at the end of the race, because these cars do have to stop again. Possibly. Yeah, they do have to stop again. So it is going to work out for us if we can just keep going here. Should we get in for our medium tyre this lap? We've got 9 laps remaining. It's going to be pushing it a little bit on this soft tyre. But if we've got the speed... Ooh, it's going to be difficult. We'll do it. We'll take a risk. We'll risk it. The engine, though. Ooh, we're going to risk it with the engine. If the engine starts going, then we can really push the tyres. We can change this to a 2-stop strategy if we need to. Actually, just let's make sure I've done everything there. I always forget to do something in the pits. Park condition. We're not doing anything with the engine. Everything else is holding up. Pit strategy balanced, fast. Not going to make us any difference. So we'll stay with balance. Hopefully we have a decent pit stop here. Ericsson is going to peel into the pits this lap. Get ready to push on the out. Come on, nice, decent pit stop there. Back out into 11th place. A nice, quick pit stop. 11th place here. So, fuel is back. We can't really do anything with the fuel because we need to just really look after this engine. We've got a couple of cars breaking down already. Who was that was breaking down? Is that Hamilton? Who's got problems with his car? Let's use a little bit of this battery to get a little bit closer to Hamilton. Maybe we can make the pass. Can we get past him with the battery? No, we can't. That was a waste. So 11th place here. A lot of these cars do have to stop again. So we're in a really good position here. We just sort of need to sit where we are. In neutral, these tyres. What's the weather like at the moment? 23. They're holding their heat at the moment. We are getting a little bit of fuel. But we can't really push. And who is this coming back at us now? Daniel Ricciardo on a soft tyre. He's possibly going to have to pit again because he's gone through these soft tyres pretty quickly. So we just need to sort of hold on to our places here. Who is that behind us? That is Valtteri Bottas in the Sauber, who's made his pit stop and is really pushing on a medium tyre. Maybe that's what we should have done. But then again, we've got to really look after the parts of the car. So we don't really want to be pushing the car. So it does work out to be on the slower tyre and not pushing. These other cars are going to have to turn down at some point. And at that point, we'll be a lot quicker than they are. And if we get to the last lap of the race and we can push, then that is what we're going to be aiming for. So we're currently 9th place, 7 laps to go. The engine is at 23%. Should we get into the pits to fix it? Is the big question. Currently 8th. If we pit, we'll be 12th. It would mean we can actually push on another set of tyres. There's not many laps to go. We did hold out with the 2%. I'm not sure. Someone actually said in the comments, I have had it before in this game where I've had both cars crash or not finish the race. I've only had it happen to me once. I don't think it was an episode I'd actually recorded, but I do remember it happening. So 20%, 30%. We've got parts going all over the place, but we're still going to go. We're going to go for it. We've got the battery to fall back on at some point during the race. We can push for the last couple of laps. 8th place. We've got cars that still need to pit. We're a long way behind here, but we're still going to score points. We've got a Renault of Carlos Sainz trying to get past us at the moment. Let's just use our little bit of battery. He's possibly got a lot more battery than us. All these other cars around us have got their battery life all in the car. Up into 7th place now. Up into 7th place now. 20%. Come out 10th. We're not going to be losing too much time if we do come in, but we would be going on to another pair of tyres. We would be fixing. We'll exit behind Stoffel Van Dorn. So where is Van Dorn at the moment? 10th. He's just pitted at the moment. Oh, it's going to be hard. What is Carlos Sainz like? Carlos is alright for his car. PK's got problems with his car. Oh dear. We'll go. We just got to keep an eye on this engine, because we're losing places anyway. We're going to end up giving up this place to Renault as it is. 20%. Oh, it has worked out for us pushing it, so we're going to stay out. And that is, who is that? Is that Pedro Piquet? No, 17th. No, that is one of the cars from the back. That is Felipe Nasr, sort of unlapping himself from us. The Renault has managed to get past us, so we can possibly push these tyres. Engine rear wing going, engine going. Ah, dear. Oh, dear. Right, let's just push these tyres a little bit. Get some. No. Oh, maybe we should have pitted. But we've got cars that are going to be retiring, and we want to stay as close to them as we can do. What are we like? Can we get to the end? 12%. Felipe Nasr has started slowing down. Right, so let's... What are we like? Van Dorn can grab us. Vettel can't actually get to us. Right, so we've just got to cover off Van Dorn. We possibly will lose it. We could go low mode, which would look after the engine. We'll go conserve for a little bit on the tyres. We'll try to cool them down a little bit. Got to look after the rear wing. The rear wing is going. Front wing should get to the end of the race. It's just whether this engine can get to the end of the race. 7th place. Come on, Ericsson. Come on. Just hold on to it. We're going to reserve most of this battery that we can. All the battery that we can. We're not bothered about Piquet unlapping himself from us. We just try to cover off Van Dorn here. Van Dorn making a surge. Use all the battery. I don't think we're going to be able to hold him off for the last lap. Got one lap to go. We got 12%. It's not actually the last lap yet, is it? We've got one more lap to go after this. It's Alonso that's on the last lap. Where's Verstappen at the moment? Verstappen's all the way down in 9th, so Ericsson 7th. We're starting to pull away from Van Dorn a little bit again. These tyres are a little bit cool, right? So we can go back into medium with these tyres. Can we risk going... No, 4%. 4%. Last lap. Are we going to be able to make it? Should we go back down to low mode? Are we going to be able to make it to the end of this race? No, we're going to stick it in medium still. 4%. Come on, Ericsson. 4%. Ah, no, 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 no. Come on. Who's that? That's Verstappen. We've got no chance of holding Verstappen off. But we've passed. We've passed Van Dorn. Raikkonen, is that without we're passing? Raikkonen, that's retiring from the race. So up into 7th place. Van Dorn is making a late surge. Our tyres have sort of gone here. But 8th place is a really good position still for us this season. If we can just get around to making that, yes we can. Engine still at 4%, rear wing at 5%. I wonder whether they've changed it so you can't have both cars crash out. I don't think they have done, because as I said, I do remember having 2 cars crash out of this at one point. But Alonso wins the race, Mick Schumacher 2nd in the McLaren, Hülkenberg 3rd in the Mercedes. So, top of the order, not looking too bad here than it has done in recent years. Ferrari have actually won a race early on. Obviously that is because Verstappen must have had some problems with his car. Went a really long time on this medium tyre. 15 laps he pushed that. But anyway, Ericsson, really well, really good 8th position, which is a lot above what we should really be aiming for at this point in the season. Obviously, it's not the same as what we did earlier on in the season in the first 2 races with Ferrucci, a 1st and a 2nd from him. But 8th place is not too bad overall. Scrutineering, we don't have any problems with our cars. I don't think anyone else will have at this point in the season. So Giovinazzi crashed. Right, so Ferrucci is still 2nd in the champions. Verstappen pulls away a little bit. Obviously his result, not obviously what he was wanting. Ericsson picks up his 1st points of the season. I don't think Ericsson's going to be able to get anywhere near what the point that Ferrucci has, unless he has a couple of really good races where the other cars sort of drop down the order. We're still 2nd in the team championship standings. We're not going to be able to hold off Mercedes and Ferrari for a long time. Williams, we're not going to be able to hold off, but maybe we can keep holding off Force India and Toro Rosso. If we can still aim to be somewhere like 6th at the end of the season, maybe that is a big aim that we should have now. So everyone still really happy. Everyone happy with the mechanics. Gene H, can't say his last name, otherwise we'll be getting flagged for inappropriate content. We came 7th overall, still happy. Surprising markability is not going up since we finished a little bit higher than what we were expected to come, because we did aim for 10th just to make sure we didn't actually get sacked in our first season with this team, with the American team. Luca Giotto is improving, Ferrucci is improving a little bit. If he can get up to 4 stars, then he might be sticking around for next season. 4 stars for what we're aiming for at the moment, in that we're still just trying to aim to get the car as good as we can. And with Marcus Ericsson being a pay driver, maybe we can stick with these for another season. just because we do have that wonderful nurse stat with Ferrucci, which allows us to have both cars finish the race in the early going of the season. But anyway, we didn't finish actually 6 or above in this race, so we didn't actually get any extra money, but 1.5 million is more than enough for what we want to work on the car. We're still waiting on this gearbox to be finished, which we will be able to go through next episode if we get it up to scratch. Hopefully they can go in the car. It will be going in Ferrucci's car, obviously. I don't think we're going to get it done in time to go in Ericsson's car, but we've got a wet race in Sochi in Russia coming up next time. Tyre wear very high, fuel burn low, so that is going to be interesting next time out. Russia, I think we've done pretty well with Russia. Did we do well with that? I'm trying to think back to the first season with the car and when the car wasn't that good. But a rainy race might play into our hand. It's not actually going to be raining in qualifying, so we can't actually sort of game the system like you can do in qualifying sometimes, where the AI isn't the best at coming out on the right tyres for the conditions sometimes in qualifying if the rain goes away. But anyway, we'll just finish with the interview. Let's talk about Santina Ferrucci's crash. Where does the fault lie? If we take the blame, it's going to make Gene unhappy. I'm going to set up 20% morale or mechanic relationship. Is it going to have lost the nurse boost? No. Don't even say. Don't even. Oh, he has lost the nurse boost. Right, so that is going to be interesting for the next race. We've lost the nurse. Sort of a question was that? Right, so yeah, we're just going to have to accept that. I could go back. I won't do. Let's save it. And then I can't pick up from before this next time. So we're going to have to stick with that next time out. Should have blamed it on myself, shouldn't I? I should have taken the hit with the chairman. Sponsors, we've got one sponsorship. I think this is the last one that we didn't have at 3 stars, so we should be getting more money in the next race than we did for this race. But anyway, that is it for this episode. It's good to be back after my holiday making these videos. Actually, our team marketability is up at 100% here, so that's why it's not increasing. We do have 100% team marketability at the moment. It's just the drivers. If we can, Ericsson makes up for being 50% as a pay driver, so maybe that is the reason we do need to swap next season, because we could be at 4 stars. Would we? I don't think we could. We would be at 70, about 70-ish% if we replace Ferrucci with a 100% driver. Maybe Hamilton would be willing to join us next season. He's not having the best of seasons with Toro Rosso, so maybe we could get Hamilton into this car next season. But anyway, that is all for the next episode. So anyway, if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment. But until next time, I'll see you down the road in Russia for the Sochi Grand Prix, and goodbye.